The melting point Thursday on Memories 96.5 FM, where we get to dissect trending issues from politics to governance, the economy, and what have you. It's always a pleasure to be here to do anything for you. You should know my name by now, Juliana Epa. I trust you know your own name, and of course that you will keep your own part of the bargain by staying tuned to the program. It promises to be interesting, rewarding, enlightening, and of course informing. Yeah, I've got with me in the studios this morning to do justice to issues that will be dissected. None other than the public affairs analyst is not a new person to the radio. He's a regular voice, a regular presence, a personality in the radio business. Is none other than the citizen himself, honorable citizen. Let me just add that one. I know you wouldn't like it. Okay, Matthew Kofi O'Connor is right here. I know he would prefer to just go by his name, Matthew Kofi O'Connor. But just spare me of all these honorable things, isn't it? Good morning, so nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Ilana. Good to be here. I must apologize that last week I couldn't make it. I was a bit under the weather.
And you should expect it.
Yeah. No, there are times you push yourself beyond limits, and you also know. Yeah. So when it comes, it's also the grace of God that we are able to bounce back so soon. Good to have you host me.
Thank you so much. Talking about bouncing back. Yes. Hey, take a look at the political trends, the political atmosphere. A lot of people have bounced back into the business, into the ring. I wouldn't say the boxing ring this time around because they're not boxing, but the political ring, of course, vying for 2027 presidential seat. It's no longer news that there have been defections here and there, and people have been moving cross-carpeting, and some are even doing what I see as anti-party, but I don't know whether that thing is no longer, tenable these days. Of course, because back in the days, you see that you hear, if someone is in, maybe let's say this particular party like PDP, and then you're supporting someone in APC or doing something like that, people will not come down and say, why are you doing this anti-party and all that? But these days, you're seeing someone in a particular party, people say, okay, you're a comment icon. You understand? And the person is still supporting, even people in that party know that this person is actually supporting this other person in the other party. But nothing is happening, actually. That person is still there. A whole lot of shenanigans are going on, MKO. So this morning, we're going to be sitting on this issue. It's not a new issue today. It's something that has, sparked reactions along the week. Let's say since last week, actually, when it came on board. And that is the ADC coalition issue, the defections, and of course the party shenanigans and all that has been going on. We're going to be sitting on this issue today, looking at the developments. Remember, last week, Thursday, I told you we'll be monitoring the issue, yes, and as it unfolds, we'll be bringing you the stories and, of course, the analysis from our expert analysts. And if we have time today, we'll be looking at another equally trending issue that is affecting almost everyone in the country, and that is the diplomatic tension that is on ground, the visa, restrictions and all that, the tightening of, what do we call it now, the visa from UAE and US and all that. A whole lot is going on in that area. So if we have time, we're going to look into that and see the implications involved and other issues. Okay, so stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be delving straight into the matter. Okay, ahead of the 2027 general elections, we've seen a fresh wave of defections sweeping across so many states in Nigeria, the likes of Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Ondo, and other states, as notable politicians have abandoned their former parties to join the ADC coalition. The defections have been attributed to the failure of the APC-led government and the compromised leadership of the PDP, amongst others. Okay. Speaking during the expanded caucus meeting, the ADC chairman Awal Baude described the coalition as a timely alliance driven by the need to offer Nigerians a credible alternative. He said it's a timely alliance. And some people in some quarters have said, yes, so it's a Time Alliance. Like, finally, it's a rescue team on the way to rescue Nigeria from the precipice of collapse and all that. Citizen MKO.
Yes.
What is your view on this matter?
Words sound good on you, the way you are bringing them out. I wish I'm the anchor and you'll be the analyst.
No, let's have your view on this. That's credible, because who are saying that it's credible, that it's a Time Alliance driven by the need to offer Nigerians a credible alternative. How credible do you see this alternative that they're offering Nigerians, on this platform of ADC?
Yes.
There are a number of things that has happened simultaneously that, by my analysis as an analyst, those developments have answered some very critical questions Nigerians have been asking, and also help a particular segment of society who were living in the fantasy island that, it is Uhuru. Who were the people living in fantasy island? They are people who are sympathetic to the ruling party, the APC. Because with the avalanche of defections, particularly in the south, where governors are defecting, including Akwa Ibom State, that has carved a niche for itself, that we know who and what Akwa Ibom represents and should represent. Something unusual took place, and that by itself, I have said, and I still maintain, is the singular most impactful defection of anybody in the history of Nigerian politics. A governor defecting with the entire legislative assembly, apart from one or two in the state, all the two, except one National Assembly, the senator, who was already a member of the ruling party, talking about Senator Gospel Akpabio, the Senate President. All the other senators defected. Nobody was seen to have been foot dragging to say, we are not even sure of the Senator representing Uyo, we are not sure of the one of the Korobasi, They just moved as if it was the wind, were just paper, it just blew them away. The National Assembly, from what I've heard so far, I think there are 10 of them, I think 8 or thereabout have defected. I don't know what has happened to their 2 yet. The commissioners, everybody apart from one. The aides, everybody apart from one. You understand? The commissioner talking about Inememabo, who said, no, I'm not going, I'm not joining, I don't believe in the APC. The aides talking about the Honorable Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Prince Chris Abaseyo, former commissioner for information as well, who said, I don't believe in APC, I'm not going. And in the country where the only sure meal ticket is if you are linked to government, and you find even one person say, I am not going, history will record it. So, but what has happened now that made some persons to feel Nigeria was going into a one-party state? It was the conversation, even the opposition leaders were saying, you are putting pressure, you are intimidating the opposition, and you are making them to run, because a number of them, they have issues with EFCC. If they don't have, as a sitting government, their predecessors who were their godfathers, they have issues with EFCC. And those documents, some of them are in public domain, the petitions are in public domain, some of them are not even in public domain as in, it's not been publicized. People know that some of these people were nothing but looters. And someday they had to account. So the defection was saying, the opposition was saying, you want to stop opposition party. Primarily because the one party that's supposed to have been the number one opposition party, the PDP, had shot itself in the foot. They committed a crime, they needed to pay for it. The impunity of wanting to retain power in the north after Buhari's 8 years. And so, when Atiku Abubakar and our southern governors and leaders, principally governors, because governors have become emperors naturally. You can't blame them. That's what the system has given them. If you are the president, you are the preeminent emperor at national. If you are a governor, everybody bows to you. So when they do things or take a decision in the governors forum meeting, even the sectional governors forum meeting, people will clap because they know that's our leader. We are going to follow them. So when the southern governors and the northern governors met and decided that power is coming to South, presidency in 2023, we were all happy, and it was also natural that both APC, PDP, Labour, ABGA believed that it's time for power shift. Very natural thing in line with what do you call this, national federal character principle. But the same people, the man that even hosted the first meeting in Delta State, Okowa, was the first to go and pick the ticket as a vice presidential candidate. And then our former governor, Dom Emmanuel, joined and was appointed the chairman of the Presidential Council. And the Yoruba governor said, that's not what we agreed. Some of the northern governors said, this is betrayal. We will not. We are going to support the southern man. Yes, we had a third force that emerged in the person of Peter Obi, who even the ruling party were mocking, that it was 4 people tweeting in a room. And for those who knew what was happening, those who foresaw that there was a revolution going on, we just laughed. We said, keep kidding yourself. For those who know the truth, they knew that something was wrong. And by the time the chips were down, what happened, happened. And I keep saying it. It will be like June 12, 1993, in some years to come. People will make confessions of what happened in 2023. So, what are we looking at? A southerner emerged. And what took place? The man called Wike, Ofonodio. I love him. And when it gets to the extreme, like I do even to myself, I said, no, Your Excellency, this one is too much. Slow down a little bit.
You love Wike.
Yeah. But for the fact that he stood almost alone, he was able to get other governors from the north. He got a governor from the southeast. He got a governor from the west, across Nigeria. I'm talking about Samuel Otom of Benue, the man that will be blessed for standing against the evil that was going on when they were trying to take over Benue, which has now almost been effected. Oyo State, Makinde, brilliant human being. Ogwani, he has his own faults as the governor of Abia State, but he said, no, this matter of southern president, we cannot negotiate. And they called them the G5. They stood against the PDP's impunity. Impunity that has cost Nigeria and the whole world an opposition party that will have been able to checkmate a ruling party. You understand? So, the fallback position will have been a Labour Party which became the umbrella or the platform for Peter Obi to actualize the obedient movement aspiration. And mind the obedient movement cut across all the parties. I have spoken with people who themselves were contesting election. They voted for Peter Obi.
In other parties? Yeah,
they would contest an election in another party. But when it came to presidential election, they voted for Peter Obi. That's just the truth. And abracadabra had to happen. Be that as it may, Peter Obi, with his own nature, he wasn't groomed, maybe he wasn't created to be an opposition person. He's supposed to be an instrument to just, what gift do you have? Bring it to the table and do it in a very nice way. Unfortunately, Atiku Abubakar, Obasanjo, Jonathan, that had benefited from the PDP as presidents and vice presidents, they all reneged and left the party open, and Wike became the sole spiritual head. Permit me to use that term. And when the people felt they had beaten Wike to eat, Wike showed them pepper, and that pepper continues. And that has brought us to what you started with, the issue of what is the extent of anti-party activities? Yeah. For Akwa Ibom, anti-party activity is if Juliana is in PDP and I am in APC, Juliana must not greet me in public and smile or stand to chat. If I have an event center as an APC person, Juliana and PDP should not come and hire my venue to use. That will make Juliana an opposition sympathizer. People hardly greeted. People hardly exchanged goodwill messages during festivities. We were far from northern elements. You see, for instance, Atiku Abubakar, call it be it APC or PDP, he has moved from here and there anyway. Let's take that, okay, like he's in PDP, and the daughter wants to marry. Do you know who will sit as the father of the marriage? APC chairman. Have you not seen that before? Or even APC president, like in case of Muhammad Buhari, you see him go, that he's the father of the marriage. You have a burial, they all go there, sit down together, cross their legs on the ground and pray. Nobody will say, you don't do that. But here, you don't try it. It was that bad, very crude. So to an extent, we give credit to His Excellency, Governor Moino, who came with a new template. Yes, some of us have more insight than what can even be public over that, but give it to him, because nothing on earth will have made Akwa Ibom to be the way it is if it was like in the previous dispensations, where you don't even greet, no matter who you are, no matter what you have to offer. Have we not had a situation where NDDC came to do a road in this state? And we heard, it was all over the news, and the state government said, no, you don't do it. We are going to do it. They never did the road. They have to be struggling or even implementing projects. So they don't even want your project because you are going to do projects to popularize yourself. A place like Okanafort has story to tell. So the issue of anti-party has been taken to a different level now. Why? Because the man called Wike, after leaving office, with all he did in office, a lot happened. We know the story already. And he was able to negotiate his way to becoming the minister for FCT, very strategic appointment. And then he has chosen to retain the structure of the PDP, which he set up. Wike set up the structure of the PDP. So it became very difficult for anybody to say, oh, now we are back. We want to get the PDP together as opposition party. Impossible. And that is where they are. And that is why they have discovered that with the support Mr. President is giving to Mr. Nyesom Wike, it will be impossible for anybody to recover PDP and use it as a platform. And what has happened, they paid for it, and what they paid for, they have gotten it. And to worsen things up, Mr. President is the most gifted political strategist in the history of this country. And he does not mince words. Anybody can afford to want to lie for Mr. President. Mr. President to tell the truth about who he is when it comes to politics. And he said it at the National Assembly that, look, Wike, people have defected. We have to sweep them clean. It says so. Talking about defection, they want to run a one-party state. He said, what are you talking about? I don't know a one-party state, but for us, we are not to help people who are jumping out of a ship without a life jacket. For us, we are to sweep them clean. Meanwhile, Wike, stay where you are. That is, stay in PDP until you are ready to come over at your will. What does that tell you? It is strategic. And when you hear that even Labour Party have been infiltrated, except you are not political conscious, or you are too naive, or you are too gullible, which will make you even a suicide bomber to normal people, Labour Party had long been infiltrated. And so, those that are saying, Peter Obi, you want to rule Nigeria, you cannot solve problem in Labour Party. Labour Party is not Labour Party. Immediately that Peter Obi took over and the Obedience had a platform, it became a monumental threat which had to be addressed. And not just that, Julian, you must know this. A number of parties are registered kept. Even though those dormant parties, they send people to them because during election, they will become tools, either to block incoming persons or to secure a platform for you to jump to in case your party does not give. So we are not really running a party system, as you even hear our governor say. We are running platforms, political platforms, and it's the worst thing to happen to Nigeria. So finally, I want to say that solving the issue of, Nigeria is going into a one-party state, the coalition emergence has shown that anybody that thinks that APC will have a one-party rule or will have a smooth sail in 2023, that person is living in a different planet that does not have reality in it. Why? Because Babachir Lawal yesterday or 2 days ago said that even APC governors and National Assembly members are in talks with them.
Yes, we'll come to that. But before we get to that, because it's actually one of the things we're having here, right. I still want you to touch on the credibility of this platform that is being used as a vehicle to unseat the incumbent by 2027. You know, how credible is it? Because, like I said, as I said earlier on, that Nigerians are saying that it is a timely alliance driven by the need to offer Nigerians a credible alternative. How credible is this alternative? You've talked about people coming out from different parties, and don't forget they're coming with different ideologies, different interests, because at the end of the day, it's all about interest, you understand? So now they're all jumping into this particular vehicle, onto this platform now, as you said before. How credible is this platform to, be able to achieve the goal that they have at the end of the day?
Most eminently credible. I know why I'm saying so. I'm going to break it down with an Ibibio proverb. Awuruko atwausen nanayan. When you have somebody that is in the community that says, he's very aggressive, the way he does his things, and very unruly, you hardly hear, you give him admonition, he will not listen to you. There are days you need somebody to match an enemy. That's the person you look for.
Okay.
You see the people that have converged in the coalition now. Yes. More people are there who are not named. And why do you need this kind of persons? Why is it even strange that they are able to even come together and come this far? And above all, for me, why did it not leak? Like when they forwarded a name to the Electoral Commission for registration as a possible platform. The initial one was SDP. And we started seeing moves, and we started hearing stories that SDP was actually put in there by somebody in power in case APC did not grant him ticket that in 2023 will have been a fallback position. So some persons that are there were just holding forth. While that talk was going on, they said, we are thinking of raising a party, and a party emerged, and they popularized it instantly, called ADA. ADA emerged. Obedient People's Party also emerged. You saw what happened. By the time INEC was trying to deny, we have not received any application, the next moment we saw the publication of the names of parties that have filed for registration. By the time the coalition people filed for ADA, from what we've heard, the people in power had to file for another ADA. Same acronym. We saw Obedient with OBI, Dient, you understand, which was what we knew for Obedient People's hair. We saw that there's another Obedience that was filed. So
that's LP, Labour Party.
No, not Labour Party.
Okay.
Obedient was a movement.
Okay, yes.
Some persons went to register it, and I don't think Peter Obi has any hand in it, because it was one of the most queer party name I can ever hear. You don't personalize a party. You don't do that. So some overzealous persons must have done that, but the powers that be, they don't joke, because they themselves, they know how they came to power. So what did they do? They also applied for Obedient with OBE, not OBI, People's Party. Same acronym. And you know what? INEC cannot register two parties with the same acronym. So what the party in power will does is any party that, applies now, particularly now, the next thing is to send a similar thing the next 5 minutes, because they have people everywhere. Oh, they have filed something. What is it? XYZ party. The next moment, they also file XYZ party. Why? Stop any opening. Which means that even the existing parties, people are likely being stationed here and there. But the one that surprised me was the fact that an existing party, which even had a candidate in Akwa Ibom State in 2023, ADC. I hope you have not forgotten that somebody called Akidesike Njaitok was the governorship candidate of ADC in Akwa Ibom State. But he's now working for the APC government. He's been appointed and he's no more in public glare like he used to, because he's also an activist. Yeah, he has very wonderful ideas. He had a party platform. But with the movement, with the appointment into Federal Housing Authority as the executive director, estate and all of that, we don't hear about that again. AFDC has a structure in Akwa Ibom. So for the coalition group to suddenly announce the movement and takeover of ADC on the 1st of July, which was met with an espionage activity. What do I mean? Are you aware that the hotel that was said to have been booked for the ceremony was blocked? And we eventually heard that even that very hotel was a decoy, because they knew that the government or some certain persons will want to block it, that it wasn't even the actual venue. So while authorities went to block that hotel venue that they said was paid for, they now went to the venue they had arranged. You see that the people are intentional. And anybody who will want to be a voluntary spokesperson for the party in power, that coalition, they are wasting their time. The party in power and the man on the saddle knows more. It's good to use propaganda to dismiss what is happening, but inside of you, you know that you are in trouble, because it is not going to be business as usual again. So there's credibility, because even the man that they announced as the national chairman, he's been a coup plotter par excellence. Former Senate President, 8 years, very stable. Very stable Senate President for 8 years. David Mark. Not just that. As a military general, one of the regular coup plotters and beneficiaries of coups. And as you are aware, you've heard what is in public domain, that he was the one that threatened that if they give, IBB announces MK Abiola as the winner, that it will be a gunner the next moment and all of that. So it was all those that was feared. And he doesn't talk. The daughter is a House of Reps member under APC. And the father is now the national chairman of ADC, coalition party to unseat the party of the daughter. And he doesn't talk. Have you quoted him? You don't even have anything from him yet. And so it's so stable, and nobody should be left in doubt that what was seen to have been, El Dorado for APC, it is clean sweep, especially the South. The South is not won. Let us not deceive ourselves.
Let us look at the crop of people now. You've mentioned Senator David Mark, being there, and as the person leading the people there. Let's look at the people that are, coming out into this party. The how do I put them now? The elephants, yes. the tsunamis, the Timbers and Calibers, the Titanics themselves. You understand? We have the likes of El Rufai, Amechi, Peter Obi, and what's his name? Atiku Abubakar. Yes. These are people that have been in the corridors of power. Nigerians have been saying this over and over again. They were there when Nigeria evolved into what it is today.
Yes.
At some point, they were, in fact, part and parcel of the whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now that they are bouncing back, they are coming back, they are telling us we want to do this, we want to rescue on a rescue team. How credible is this rescue thing of that they're talking about? You were there, you didn't. Why weren't you able to, rescue us back then? Is it now that we're going to give you our trust, you're going to be able to do this for us and all that? And some people are of the view that, hey, these phases are like repeating again, like a recurring decimal. Some of them have been, like you said, Atiku from one party to another. Yeah. He's always there. Like every election, he's always appearing. Yeah. Now, why can't we have a fresh crop? I remember asking, I think, the analyst last Thursday we had on this program, a fresh face entirely. And some people are like, we should have youths. They're not too young to run, thing that they came up with and all that. Some fresh faces, and the big younger people who can come on board and do this thing. But some people are like, they will not have the willpower and all that to overthrow and do this and that. What is your take on this? Old faces and all that.
Partially answered the question.
Yes, I'm trying to.
The power. Okay. The willpower, but the power. Do you know what it means to build somebody's capacity? I have been blessed to have worked with a number of persons closely because I believe in service, and some persons and groups, when they want results, MK will come. Can you do this for us or do this? Not even can you, do this. Not because they are going to reward, but because this guy has capacity to deliver, and he doesn't look like somebody that knows the value of money because he won't put money first, We have built the capacities of the wrong persons over the years. Somebody becomes a counselor or PA to a counselor. The next moment, when they want somebody, because the counselor moved to either state or higher position and local government, his PA in the ward is the next counselor. The PA that knows nothing. That same PA will move until he will get to the state. And even get to the State House of Assembly, knows nothing, or even become a Federal House member. We had a Federal House member in this state who was said to have been a cook somewhere. And he had nothing to offer because the boss just said, I have a relationship, go to your state and go to House of Reps as a benefit. People's drivers, people's gardeners, people's domestic servants are given positions in the council and they move. Why? Because their bosses will be there when the sharing is done. And because they do returns, the more people you have, the more returns you are making. I know it. Because I've been there at least a little. That's how it gets to the national level. That people who have clear records of corruption hanging on their necks, people who have questionable academic credentials, and they don't hide it, they are the ones in power. And because poverty has been weaponized, politicized, what do? Impoverished people get all the money because election is not about voting. It's a capacity to buy your way or fight your way. Some of these people, they have what do you call it now? They are civilian generals. They have their armies. They call boys or whatever name. Militant groups. By even name political groups, but they can be as violent as possible. Over time, who are you to come from wherever? Even if you are there and you are not one of them, you can never excel. You can't. So, the capacity of those we have talked about have been built over the years. Not that all of them were good enough to have been sustained since 1999. Some of them since 1980, something like Atiku. Atiku himself has even added value. Sometimes we are not fair enough to Atiku. He was just a governor, elected, and Obasanjo said, please, because of the structure inherited from his boss, Yar'Adua, bring your goodwill to become the vice president. Since he was after being vice president, what hell has he been? Nothing. But Amaechi was in the House of Assembly, was speaker for 8 years, was governor for 8 years, was minister for 8 years. Not that there are too many criminal things we want to ascribe, or criminal things we want to ascribe to Amaechi, just that he has his own style. You understand? El-Rufai, very controversial. He's been there from Bureau of Public Enterprises as Director General. To be sent as a minister to be cleared, controversy started in the National Assembly. He accused the senators of asking for bribe. And it was even reported. Somebody said, he said, stop that matter. And the thing was done for him without maybe even his knowledge to get him cleared. He became minister for FCT. Very controversial person. He became governor for 8 years. Very controversial over the Southern Kaduna killings. As we speak, El-Rufai has a case with the anti-corruption agency of his state. The federal government is aware, but is the federal government able to say, this one is very cheap? Like what is happening for us to our people in the South who have cases with EFCC? Has the federal government under Bola Tinubu been able to say, let us go and pick him like a snail. Let him go and answer questions to the 400 billion he's been accused of by the governor, his successor. You understand? It does not happen. But in the South here, our people are running like, what do you call it? Running for hiding and singing new songs. In fact, strange songs. So, if somebody like El-Rufai, who has a case that's in public domain, you can Google it. Listeners can Google and check. You understand? Has courage to say this government is the worst government ever, we're going to flush it out. I beg, give him flowers, because there are others who what they stole is not even in public domain, but they cannot talk. Now, looking at them, the elements, the people in the coalition and the people in government, who would you say are even better? As I speak with you, Juliana, I want to believe that along the line, as we make progress, the current government may pretend that they have never assumed power. And they will say, no, please, it was an error. We had mix-up. Let us start afresh. Consider that we were never, ever elected. Because we couldn't have done this to you. Why? We thought we saw the worst in the administration of President Buhari. But what is playing out is so horrible that the former SGF, Boss Mustafa, who does not talk, you can hardly quote the man, particularly having to do with anything that is controversial or political. We know what he said yesterday. He said yesterday that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not make Buhari president, as he has been claiming. That Buhari came to the election with 12 million votes. Talking about the votes he had in 2019. Maybe carried it in a bag. You was just going about with it. Next election, you just bring that one and put it on the table. The coalition only brought 3 million votes.
So those are insinuations. Does he have anything to prove about
Yeah,
that?
it has something to prove. Or he has made a statement. Why? Because they just look at the administration and said, compare this to Buhari, that people were saying that what has caused us this kind of accident? That Buhari, now people are not looking for Buhari. You see the challenge. So it becomes difficult for the ruling party to want to beat their hands on their chest to say, none among you can, because most of those guys that are there now were in the PDP when PDP gave something that could have been considered as the best of times so far in the history of this country. PDP wasn't as bad as was painted. And thank God for politicians, people like Fayemi. Fayemi came out to confess that they knew Jonathan was doing very well, but they were doing politics. They wanted power, and they had to lie. That himself and the wife, they have told God to forgive them. Fayemi, Google it and check that they lied. They knew what was happening, but they wanted power. But it's like, and it's like the APC was created for nothing else but to grab power. You can't blame them. After all, people are even saying so, that politics is about power. It's a vehicle, no ideology. It is that bad. So anybody that wants to tell you who are the people in the coalition, whether the one that did this, they have not started, or they are not fair to themselves. And if their children are asked in the exams hall to do an essay, and they write what they hear their parents say, they will fail woefully. They will fail woefully. Because it is worse than we can imagine. And like I said, long ago, even before now, long ago, when the administration started and some wrong policies wrong decisions were taken in the name of policy. I said, no, this is wrong, please correct it. And you find people saying the best decision taken, the best policy. People that are supposed to be policy makers don't even know what a policy is. Policy is not an announcement made out of the heat of the moment. It is something that's well thought out, like the tax policy that has been signed into law, and the people behind it, two Yoruba guys, two Yoruba men. You know, it's not a matter of tribe now. The man at the Federal Inland Revenue is a Yoruba. The man that was appointed to the tax policy committee is also Yoruba. Look at what they have come up with. Something wonderful. And they also gave the timeline. They said it's been signed. It will not be implemented until January 2026. Why? We use 6 months to work out modalities, do publicity, and then it can take off. But look at what happened to us. Oil sector, Abba. Financial sector, a single statement that even the president owned up in France, that a strange spirit possessed him when he made that statement. And people were still clapping. No, we are better than this.
Okay.
So, let nobody who is worth a paper upon which even his name is written want to claim that those in coalition are enemies of Nigeria, they're the ones that destroyed Nigeria, the ones that are here are the ones that are correcting. That would be very, very wrong.
Talking about policy now, yes. We saw the other day Peter Obi was on TV and on Popular TV, interview, had an interview on a Popular TV,
station.
Station. And we've also been hearing from other people as well. There has not been any clear cut-out policies. Yeah. If you listen to those interviews, you understand that, when I'm coming on board, this is what I'm going to do, and all that and all that. This have not been stated. And according to the special advisor to the president on policy communication, Daniel Bala, he said that the coalition had been unable to present alternative policies, because now they're saying, okay, what Bola Tinubu is doing, these policies are this and that and that and that. Okay, fine. What are you bringing to the table? But instead they've resorted to criticisms and, issuing of press statements and all that. That's all they do is criticize and issue press statements. And he also went ahead to say that the coalition is not stable, and he's saying that in the next 6 months or so they're going to implode. Already we have seen some, intrigues and a clash of interest in the party.
Yeah.
So far, this one is saying, I'm not going for vice president. This one is saying, I'm not going as running mate. A lot of issues. Yes. Everybody wants the seats and all that. Yeah. So just look at these things that he's talked about, no issuing of policy and all that. What are they striving for?
Let's start from there.
Yes.
It is very wrong for a government in power to ask an opposition to give it a total blueprint of what they are speaking against.
But shouldn't it be so? So that Nigerians will have what to, vote for. Let
me come.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to give you a clear example. It is the responsibility of the opposition party to condemn things that a ruling party does that is wrong. But like I said earlier, in the case of the APC, because it was built as a propaganda machinery to outdo the PDP that had overboasted. Now, Jonathan's policies were not bad. They were just too wonderful. They had some weaknesses, yes. But because APC is gifted in solid propaganda, and they had a foreign backer in the person of Obama, records are there. Even Jonathan has documented it in his book. So, the only person that gave not just a policy remark condemning Jonathan's fuel subsidy removal policy, which I condemned then. Fuel subsidy was removed on January 1st, 2012. When people had gone for Christmas and people had to sell their laptops, sell their phones to be able to go back to wherever they came from and then rescue Nigeria There was a campaign where Ojota was turned to home for opposition elements and other activists to want to send away Jonathan's administration unless he reverses the fuel subsidy removal policy, which he actually removed. You know who did something that is historic? Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On I think 8th or 9th of February, he made a written press statement that contained not just a policy statement, but it contained a plan on how fuel subsidy was to be removed and in phases, and what must be done. And if you don't do it, you will be killing people en masse in Nigeria. Juliana, I came to Memories FM as an analyst. But when I saw the kind of mess that was going on with the wrong pronouncement of fuel subsidy is gone, I had to raise the money. Thank God for the chairman of Memories FM, who was magnanimous to give me some level of ground to be able to step on strongly. I started the program. And what did I start the program with? The solution to the first subsidy removal crisis that would never, quote me, what is happening to us as a people in the oil sector will never be undone unless the proper thing is done. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the one that has the greatest solution. He made it available to Jonathan's administration. Jonathan's administration, let me want to say this, took it by withdrawing that very policy or an announcement, and then planned on revamping the refineries, put some things in place before this could be done, before that could be done, and most so, the looting in the sector was not as massive as what happened after he even left. So, but here is the same man who, when he was in the opposition, had a master plan of how you can manage the subsidy regime. But as a sitting president, not even himself or his aides or other governors or National Assembly members or his party could show him the document. I made that document available. I published it. I've shouted about it. I did a world press conference over that. Have they taken it? No. So you cannot tell Peter Obi. Yes, during the election, all the candidates said, we will remove fuel subsidy. But did you expect them to give you their plan? Who does that? Okay, for instance, when Atiku was campaigning against Buhari that he was going to sell NNPC, do you know what they called him? They called him names. Why? Above when they asked him, who are you going to sell it to? And maybe he said, oh, my friends, are my friends not qualified to buy assets that are sold by government? They went berserk. But guess what? Obasanjo said it and said it. The last time he said it, they abused the hell out of him like some person like Tinubu said. President Tinubu said it, they abused the hell out of me. When the last time he said, look, you see this protected refinery people are doing, it will not work. There's nothing I did not do. I called Shell and they said, please come and take over this refinery. The man said, I don't want. He said, why now? He said, look, it will not work. And the reasons are clear. What has happened today? With all the abuses they rained on him, Port Harcourt refinery, Warri refinery has not worked. And I'm sure you have heard the paper review today. Olukoyede, EFCC chairman, has said that the corruption that has been uncovered in NNPC is what? Mind-boggling. So, you remove fuel subsidy. What is fuel subsidy? Fuel subsidy under Jonathan was just about 11 naira, less than 12 naira. But when it was removed under Buhari, it was called deregulation. They put up 40-something, 45 naira. And it stood from 87 naira to 145 naira first subsidy was even moved by Buhari. But because our people is like this, there's a charm, there's a magic wand that has been thrown into the wind. People don't know what they should know. You now come again to meet the worst level of fuel subsidy corruption, where Nigeria was said to have been consuming between 70 million to 100 and something million liters per day, which is a lie. So what is supposed to have been addressed was the corruption in the sector, which Asiwaju had also said in his write-up. So how come you are the one there, you cannot practice it? How come you have people that are called aides or ministers of state for petroleum, and they can never be able to bring a memo? No. Let nobody tell an opposition person, bring your entire plan, let me see, because you wouldn't be able to even copy it. What is the worst? The worst form is that the people in power are more gifted to political issues, no matter how complex they will solve it. Okay. But when it comes to issues bordering economy and governance, they score 0. That's why I think I've quoted Adebayo, SDP presidential candidate in 2023. You know what he scored Asiwaju in the 2 years in office? He gave him A1 in politics. You know what he gave him in governance? F9.
It is so he has to take the cost. All right.
That's the problem that we have.
Yeah.
Our leaders do not have quality people around them because they reward mediocrity. That's what they do. Asiwaju would never perform this bad if he was able to keep the kind of hands that he was being celebrated of. That, he's a headhunter. He looks for the best.
Okay.
Yes, but that is not to be, and you cannot use somebody's failure to want to blame the opposition for not, give me Expo now. Expo that you will not take. the one we're even doing on air, even locally here. And people are taking it, they are saying it as a song unity, because that's a new slang. So I must say this, for us as the people here, when you hear Ewunteme means he's a non-conformist.
Yes.
Don't bring him on. His ideas. And you see that kind of thing, but it paints the picture that that's the person, the bad person.
Okay.
No society can grow with such mentality. None.
All right. We can have your views if you want to contribute or ask questions, have your say. It's time for you to have your say, dear listener. The number to call is 0803-085-7755, 0803-085-7755. Feel free to call in, have your say on the issue we're talking about right now, we're discussing about right now. The number again is 0803-085-7755. Citizen, just before I let you go, there's this, you raised that issue and I said, hold on to it first.
Okay.
This issue of, okay, let's take this call. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Joseph calling from Internal.
Okay, go ahead.
I think what the guests have said so far in the studio is completely sensible.
Okay.
Nothing but the truth. Well, if you want to dig deep, you understand that right from the inception of this administration, it's all about bringing opposition down. And now they are doing everything to make sure that the coalition, the ADC, is not succeeding. And I wonder, that from the scale of the government, politics all the way, it is unfortunate. And I think the state where we don't have opposition, I think it is more or less a free for the politician to gain the resources of the country. So I'm urging the coalition to be straightforward in what they are doing and make sure they salvage this country, because this country is going down the drain at their parties. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for your contribution. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you. Where you're calling from and what's your name?
Good morning, members of the press and your panel today. This is Bob calling from.
Good morning.
All right, go ahead.
And Andrew.
Good morning, my brother.
Please, there was a program that you were coming to time by time in the Islamic situation, but I'm not able to come to say that after you come to the summit and the local government commission at this, I remember something like that. I was waiting for you to come in. Let me talk about the position. For me, I was no faction and this position because of the caliber of people who are there and for their personal interest. Because they want to be the continent. This one say, I want to be the continent of the country. They need to come out and say, you are not even mentioned our running media. This one say, all those things. For some faction, you can get a lot of faction and things in this solution. But I've never heard when the president said that he wants to turn the country into working party. Never heard. It is the position that I said this is their interpretation. And I want to acknowledge the advance of anyone participating in the country. At the same time, I've not heard when the president said for action, he wants to turn it to one participant. But I stand and believe that this position is not even a position and this is because of personal interest. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Okay. Let's talk about the party imploding due to factions and clashes and all that. Let me just take just one last call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Akpan calling from you here.
All right, quickly, 60 seconds.
I agree with the guest there, Enko.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Please, I just want to contribute fast from in place. God gives a man like that. I want Enko to fight of this ASCON from Ikorabas that I hear that they sell it to one of the highest in this authority. Let us stand up and fight for it, please. I'm just bringing the idea, please. And go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much. All right, that's about it. But just before we go, this is an MKO.
Yes.
A quick one. There have been predictions, some are even prophesying that this party, this ADC coalition thing, will not stand. In 6 months' time, it's going to implode. Due to some issues within the clash of interest and all that. People are foreseeing things like this. What's your take on it? Just 60 seconds.
In less than 60 seconds, I want to say that it is part of political propaganda for people to speak against the coalition. PDP did the same when it has to do with APC. They thought it was a joke. But for us who are analysts, I'm non-partisan. Okay. I face issues. I knew that something was in the offing and it came to pass. So if people who want to deceive do what they know how to do best, and you that is working on something that we know that is going to benefit more people, and you give up, that's left for you. The reality is that we must rise at the same level with politicians. Politicians are very conscious about power. Okay. But citizens are the one bearing the brunt. It must now be, in 2027, politicians versus the people. Okay. No matter the party you are, whether coalition, ruling party, you must be able to judge what you are doing. Can you do this as a service to God? Or you are doing this as service
to yourself? Not
just to yourself, but to a wicked force, because you cannot be suffering and then you are aiding people that are putting you through suffering. Liberation is what is needed at every level. That's why I said, at the point I foresee APC, they will tell people, please forgive us. We don't know what came over us. Just give us opportunity. We are going to start afresh. But you cannot use this record. I see why you even said it. If I don't give you power, my first 4 years, no more estimated billing. If I come again, don't vote for me. The video is there. Okay. Simple a thing as just an item. Talk less of the general suffering. So it must be the people versus politicians. It does not matter the party or vehicle that they are boarding. Otherwise, Nigeria will cry to say, how did we get here? Meanwhile, we know how we got here.
Pray we won't cry again.
Amen. Maybe not.
Thank you so much, Citizen. It's been great having you on the program. Looking forward to next time.